or if you've found your way to Fire Your MD now. You want to talk to me today or any day, Monday through Friday, 4 to 5 Central Time, 5 to 6 Eastern Time, and 2 to 3 Pacific. Give us a call, toll free, 866-582-9933. That's 866-582-9933. 866-582-9933 and 24/7 on the World Wide Web at Fire Your MD Now. So Dr. Sanjeev Gupta comes out with a brand new book. It's called Monday Morning or something like that. It's an expose on the deaths that happen in hospitals by accident, right? Accidental deaths, quote unquote. Accidental deaths. It's people that go to the hospital and they're killed by treatments, or wounded or maimed or harmed by MD treatments. And from a statistical point of view, more of these tragedies happen on Monday morning than anything else. Now, I'm going to give you, this book gives us a little bit of insight into the upside down ridiculousness that we are subject to here in the medical monopoly, which has become the United States of America. The United States of America has been, the medical theater in the United States has been monopolized since 1923, more or less, by the modern American medical and pharmaceutical industry. And the MDs don't let anybody else on their turf. The chiropractors are second fiddle. The naturopaths are third or fourth fiddle. The homeopaths are fifth or sixth fiddle. The acupuncturists, everybody else is alternative to the MD emperor, right? Well, this is a problem. Because when you monopolize an industry, it sows the seeds. It's a very fertile ground for corruption. So, Dr. Gupta writes this book, which is an expose on, how bad it is in hospitals. And what's the solution for this? Their solution, of course, is to have more oversight, have more regulatory oversight. Have fines or penalties or this, that, or the other thing for the attending physicians. My solution, don't go to the hospital. Close the hospital. My solution, eliminate the medical monopoly which the MDs are. But the MDs cannot conceptualize this because in Dr. Gupta's mind, medicine equals what he was trained in. And there's no room for anything else. His training equals medicine. And the chiropractors, the naturopaths, the homeopaths, everybody else, they're substandard, inferior, alternative quacks, quote unquote, selling snake oil. This is how they actually look at themselves. They are so filled with hubris. Their hubris is breathtaking. It is breathtaking. They are absolutely 100% unapologetic. And nothing gets under my skin more than somebody who's unapologetic. The MD will wound you, maim you, harm you, or kill you, wash his hands, and sleep soundly that night because, that's just what comes with the territory. It can't be the doctor's fault. I had the best training in the world. I went to Harvard University. For goodness sake, I'm a graduate of Harvard. My you-know-what doesn't stink. Baloney. The problem that we have when there's a monopoly in any arena is that the people involved in the monopoly think that they are the be-all, end-all. They think that they are the alpha and the omega. They are completely 100% unapologetic. And when their therapeutics fail, instead of holding the mirror up to themselves and doing a little professional self-re-examination, they blame the patient. It's got to be the patient's fault. It's got to be the administration's fault. It was Monday. That was the reason that we stink at what we do. It's Monday. We'll do a better job Tuesday. Well, no, you won't. Your profession is the leading cause of death in the United States. And, I have yet to have an MD call me up and have a conversation with me about this, which I'm open to. But they won't. You won't call me up because I will lacerate you intellectually because the facts are on my side. It is a fact that MD-directed medical treatments are the leading cause of death in the United States. It is a fact that in the last 100 years, while the MDs have been driving the bus of medicine, obesity is skyrocketing, autism is skyrocketing, Alzheimer's is skyrocketing on your watch. And yet the MD's answer to this, it's not our fault, it's genetic. Well, which gene is it? It's not genetic. You can't pass that one off on me. We decoded the entire human genome a number of years ago. By the way, you don't even know what a gene is. Because the people that are involved with cutting-edge genetic science today don't even use the term gene anymore. They refer to things as gene regions. I bet you didn't know that, Mr. MD. You're talking to Dr. Glidden. You want to know what my IQ is? I will bust your chops every time I can because the facts are on my side, and it is impossible to win this argument with me. It is impossible. And yet, here we are in the United States. And this is what, my profession is reduced to. We have to get on the radio. We have to, give free lectures all around the country. We have to beat the drum. We have to lasso people and drag them to the presentations and knock them upside the head, intellectually, to try to shake all the cobwebs out and shine the light of the truth inside their eyes, and then maybe, hopefully, they'll wake up. Well, there's two types of people in this world, ladies and gentlemen. There are people who are open-minded and courageous, and there are people who are closed-minded and cowardly. And if you are closed-minded and cowardly, you're going to suffer and die. Because if you are closed-minded and cowardly, you will do what everybody else does. And what everybody else does in the United States is they go to the MD, unquestioningly. They'll take 6, 7, 8, 9 prescription medicines without even batting an eyelash, without even asking the doctor anything at all. No questions whatsoever. They'll just take it gladly. The only thing they're worried about is whether their insurance is going to pay for it. Is my copay, and what's my copay going to be, Doc? That's the only question they have. But when they come to me or one of my colleagues offering extremely sophisticated, state-of-the-art, cutting-edge, science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition, they've got a million questions. What do you mean? What's that vitamin C? What's in that nutritional supplement? Is there sorbitol in there? Oh, I see that there's lead in there. What do you mean you're going to be giving me lead? Oh, I'm skeptical. I have to ask you all these questions about all of these essential nutrients that the human body needs anyway, that Mother Nature designed just for use by the human body, but I'm going to be unquestioning about all the pharmaceuticals that I take. You're not skeptical. If you were skeptical, you would have canceled your insurance and fired your MD 20 years ago. You're not skeptical. Asking me about the validity of my treatments, asking me about the recipes of my nutritional supplements as if you know anything about biochemistry. You're not skeptical. You're a closed-minded, cowardly conformist, period. If you had a truly skeptical nature, you never would have taken the beta blocker in the first place. You never would have agreed to have the heart ablation surgery. You never would have agreed to have the stent. You never would have agreed to have the coronary bypass. You never would have agreed to take the hydrochlorothiazide, and you certainly never would have agreed to do chemotherapy or radiation for cancer. You wouldn't have done it because those therapeutics don't work, and they're dangerous, loaded with side effects, and they cause more harm than they cause good. And when they are effective, they're not curative. They simply manage the illness. For instance, hydrochlorothiazide. It's a high blood pressure medicine. If you take hydrochlorothiazide for 5 years, you get type 2 diabetes. It's a side effect of hydrochlorothiazide. So why on earth would an MD prescribe a medicine for you that would give you type 2 diabetes? Because the MD doesn't care about what happens 5 years from now. It's the MD's job to keep you from dying from a heart attack in their office so they're not sued. So they're going to do whatever they've been trained to do, and if they were trained to give you hydrochlorothiazide, they're going to give it to you. And then they're going to think to themselves, well, this person's probably going to get type 2 diabetes from this, but that's okay. We'll just give them metformin. This is how they think, because they do not know the first thing about medicine. And what's the first thing about medicine? That your body has a God-given ability to fix itself. You don't believe in God? Turn the radio off right now. And by the way, I'm not a religious person. I am as anti-religion as anybody on this planet. Religion is man-made. I'm not talking about man's interpretation of God. I'm talking about God. The human body has a God-given ability to fix itself. A God-given ability to fix itself. It is built into the works. Your body knows how to fix itself. Your body wants to fix itself. Most of the time, all that it needs is the raw materials, the essential nutrients, that nature is providing for it. The problem is the essential nutrients that the human body needs, they're not in the food anymore. Quite frankly, I'm not sure they ever were. But again, this is a myth that we're all suffering from. You know, we believe in the back of our minds, that God created us perfectly and put us on this planet and everything that we need to survive is in the food and all I need to do is eat organic. Nonsense. Think about it this way. There's a lot of stuff you need to do to survive on planet Earth. You can't just walk around naked, right? You know, maybe if you live in Tahiti, you can walk around naked. But if you live in Chicago, you can't. If you live in Europe, you can't. If you live in these climates, you have to wear clothes. You have to make clothes. You have to wear clothes. You have to live in houses and heat them and cool them, right? Even the Native Americans needed to live in dwellings. You need to find and purify water. Yeah, you need to do that. You need to develop a waste elimination system. You need to do that. All of these things you need to take action on and do just to survive on the planet and the body that God gave you. Well, there's one more thing you need to do. You need to find and swallow 90 essential nutrients every day. And it would help if you put those 90 essential nutrients together in an absorbable recipe, because the recipe is everything. So if you use your God-given intelligence to purify water and build dwellings and develop a waste elimination systems, you can also use your God-given intelligence to scour the globe, secure, purify, and put together in absorbable recipes all of the nutrients that your body needs. If you don't do this, it's only a matter of time until your body runs out of something, and then something breaks. Susan from California is calling about tennis elbow. Susan, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi, doctor. Thanks for taking my call. I just barely bumped my funny bone, and I've bumped it much harder before and recovered easily, but I bumped it once, and then I guess I went about just normal activities without doing anything at all strenuous, and now I have tennis elbow. And
how long ago did you bump it?
Oh, gosh, it's been about a month and a half. I've been going to physical therapy to try to get some help with it. So I just don't know why, all of a sudden, I'm falling apart like this.
Yeah, how old are you? I'm
57.
Okay, so that's why. But it's not really because you're 57. I'm a little tongue-in-cheek today. But here's how this goes, okay? I want you to picture, like a pitcher, right? A glass pitcher. And this pitcher represents all of the nutrients that your body needs to have in it every day in order to maintain its health. And in order for that to happen, the pitcher needs to be filled to the brim every day, okay? Mm-hmm. Most people, that pitcher is only about a third of the way full. Only about a third of the way full. If you're lucky, it's half of the way full. But that's only if you're lucky. Most people, it's between a third and half of the way full. Now, you're down a significant amount of nutrients, right? But your body has vital force, and your body can manage its integrity. For instance, the average age of death of a homeless alcoholic person living on the street is 48 years of age. Because there's a little bit of nutrition in Ripple wine. There's a little bit of nutrition in, the Magnum beers, right? There's a little bit of nutrition in white bread. There's a little bit. And your body can manage its affairs until about 50 years of age with minimal nutrition. Now, when you have not enough nutrients in that pitcher, when it's less than half full, the stress of life doesn't go away. The stress of life is still there, right? So, we've got emotional stress, we've got financial stress, we've got political stress, we've got the stress of weather, we've got relationship stress, we've got the stress of microorganisms and viruses and bugs, and there's all this stress all the time that we're subject to. I mean, you breathe in carbon dioxide from or automobile exhaust, carbon monoxide, just from walking down the street, and there's metabolic stress on your body. For goodness sake, you eat some lettuce, it's got a pesticide on it, there's metabolic stress on your body. When your body is exposed to stress, it uses up its nutrients to deal with it. So unless we are actively and aggressively supplementing with nutrients every day, it is only a matter of time until that pitcher goes empty or gets really, 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 like low. And when the pitcher gets really, really, really low, things start to break. And it seems like, holy smokes, overnight I'm 50 years of age and I wake up and all of a sudden I've got arthritis. So where the heck did that come from? Or it's like, you're 57 years old and you wake up and all of a sudden you've got high blood pressure. It's like, what? Where did that come from? All of a sudden you can't sleep. All of a sudden you start to gain weight. You just look at food and you gain weight. And all of a sudden it seems like. Well, it's not all of a sudden. It's been going on for decades. Your body has been slowly losing nutrients, and you didn't even know it. And,
you don't feel it.
Yeah, you don't. Well, you get used to it. It's called habituation. It's kind of like, back in the day when I was in college, you could smoke in bars. And I was never a smoker, but, we'd hang out with your college buddies on a Saturday afternoon watching the football game, and everybody around you is smoking. And when you're in there for more than an hour surrounded by cigarette smoke, you don't smell the smoke anymore. You get used to it. And then you go outside for 10 minutes to get something from your car or whatever. You come back in, as soon as you open the door, man, is it smoky in here. So the body gets used to things. And, you don't feel your hair growing, but your hair grows, but you don't feel it. It's the same thing with nutrient deficiencies. It is just a matter of time until something breaks. So that's what's happened to you. Your body has run out of the raw materials that it needs to keep your tendons and bones healthy, and a little bit of that extracurricular stress of the trauma was enough to upset the apple cart. So the solution to this is easy, because healing is easy. Surgery is difficult. Healing is easy. All we need to do is give the body the good stuff, and it will fix itself. This is a pretty simple thing to do, from one particular point of view, because all that you need to do is fill that tank up. You need to take the nutrients that your body needs to keep the bones and ligaments and joints, in your case, healthy, and then the body will fix itself. So our recommendation, science-based, clinically verified recommendation to support and promote the health of bones, joints, and tendons is one healthy bone and joint pack. Imagine that. How did we ever come up with that name? One healthy bone and joint pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. And you always want to, if you're like 170 pounds, you take the 200-pound dose. Okay. If you're 130 pounds, you take the 150-pound dose, and so forth and so on. And by the way, if you're in the middle zone there, like if you're at 150 or 250, how you do that is you need a pack and a half a month. So in July, in August now, you'd buy 2, and in September you'd buy 1, in October you'd buy 2, in November you'd buy 1, and we dose it out, appropriately. So that's all you need to do, one healthy bone and joint pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. I am also a giant advocate and cheerleader for the therapeutic use of the trace mineral selenium. Okay. Selenium reduces breast cancer occurrence by 82%. It reduces prostate cancer occurrence by 69%, colon cancer occurrence by 64%, and lung cancer occurrence by 39%. It's a fantastic supplement. Everybody in the world needs to be taking selenium. So all of my patients get selenium regardless. And my recommendation for selenium supplementation is 1 bottle of Youngevity's Ultimate Selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per month. So if you're 150, you need 3. Okay. If you're 200, you need 4, and so forth and so on. Now, once we have the nutrients squared away, and we're filling that tank up with good, high-quality, absorbable, bioavailable nutrients, right? Right. The next thing we need to do is we need to stop eating foods which are punching holes in the bottom of that tank. And there are 10 foods that we have identified through decades of research and clinical experience as doing just that. So there are 10 foods which we recommend nobody even look at, let alone eat. And when you eliminate these 10 foods from your diet and fill that tank up, man, life is good. And
well,
I tell you
I've
what,
gone so far as to bake my own gluten-free bread, so I've been on the good food, bad food diet, and that's a tricky thing.
Yeah, it is a tricky thing, but here's what I want to tell you about that. As you go further down the track, avoiding the 10 bad foods, when you fall off of the wagon and, have bread that's got gluten in it, or have a donut, or have some salad dressing that has oil on it, or eat a piece of fried chicken or whatever, you're going to get hammered by it. And your body will react to it almost immediately, and then you go, son of a gun, Dr. Glidden was right after all. It's the whole habituation thing backwards, right? Because when you eat the bad foods every day, all the time, you get used to feeling like crap. And then when you stop eating them, your body gets more sensitive to them, and so then when you throw them into the diet again, it's like opening the door of that smoky bar. Oh, man, I feel horrible. So really the only thing that's necessary here then for you is the supplementation with the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack with a little extra selenium, and life should be good. Does that make sense?
It does. I want to be able to depend on my body, because I'm afraid if I exercise, I'm going to mess up a knee, and I don't even really strenuously exercise. I just want to do resistance training and lunges and those sorts of things. I'm afraid I'm going to, just doing something ordinary, hurt myself.
Well,
so,
that's the tip of the iceberg, and this is worthwhile talking about for a couple more minutes, because one of the worst things that anybody can do is exercise without nutrition, and that's what everybody in this country does. Everybody's on an exercise kick. Everybody goes to the gym. Everybody works out, but nobody knows how to provide their body with the 90 essential nutrients. So let's go back to that metaphor of that little pitcher that's in your body, and it needs to be filled to the brim, but it's only a third of the way full. When you go to the gym, you increase your metabolic rate. You sweat. You increase your heart rate. You increase your breathing. Everything increases, and that means you burn through your nutrients all the faster. So exercise without nutrition is suicide, as is evidenced by the startling statistic that couch potatoes live 5 to 10 years longer than people who exercise regularly. Mm-hmm. And there's never been a professional athlete who's lived to be over 100 years old. And these people are paid to exercise. So if exercise is so good, why don't professional athletes live to be over 100? Because they're not supplementing.
No, they're not topped off. They've got an engine that's got old fluids in it that are just not topped off. So.
Yeah, and so the corollary is also true, right? When you exercise, you stress the body, and post-exercise, your body attempts to make itself stronger. It tries to make the joints stronger. It tries to make the lungs stronger. It tries to make the heart stronger. But what does it need to do that? It needs nutrients. So when you do exercise regularly, and you're supplementing correctly, and you're avoiding the 10 bad foods, superwoman. I mean, superwoman. So keep up the good work. It's only a matter of time before this all rolls together for you, and really, time is your best friend here. And remember, healing is a process, not an event. And even though it is going to take time, you should start to feel a noticeable, perceptible change every 2 to 3 weeks, and that means you're on the right track. Susan, thanks so much for calling. I appreciate it. Right now, if Francis is still here, calling from Texas, we're going to talk to Francis. Francis, you are live with Dr. Glidden. Thanks for calling.
Dr. Glidden, thank you.
Yeah, Francis.
Yes. Hear me?
Yeah, I can. Francis, how are you? Now I know who it is.
All right, it's the Francis. Yes.
All right, very good. How are you doing?
I'm hanging in here.
Okay, good.
I got the oral metalicum. I had a hard time finding it, so I ended up ordering it online, and I got it. You asked me to get that the other day when I talked to you by phone. And I've taken only a couple of doses. And I don't know if it's supposed to make me go to the bathroom or not, but I've been 4 times already today.
All right, you've taken the homeopathic Aurum Metallicum. You've done 2 doses under your tongue twice, right?
Yes.
And both times you got diarrhea from it?
No, the first one was not diarrhea. The second 3 were loose. But, so I don't know if that's what's supposed to happen or not.
All right. I believe that that's unrelated to the Orem. Have you been dealing with loose stool for the last, in the last month or so, on and off, or not?
On and off, yes, I have. And I've been drinking the BTT more slowly, sometimes over a couple of hours.
Yeah, so that's what needs to happen here. And also, what would be a good strategy, and maybe you're already doing this, but for the next couple of weeks, it would be a good thing for you to do to avoid all gluten-free breads and
I eat gluten-free bread.
All right. I don't even want you to eat rice or beans.
Oh, no rice. Okay, I have had rice and beans. No rice or beans.
All right. I don't want you to eat rice or beans or peanut butter or anything that has soy in it for the next 14 days.
Okay.
Because those substances can bind to the minerals that are in the supplements that you're taking and not, can disallow your... So you can be taking 100 milligrams of a particular mineral, but really only absorb 10 or 20 of it because you've got rice in your system at the same time.
Right. Now, I'm still experiencing chest pain, and it seems like it's a little worse. I don't want to get into a lot of detail here, but I don't feel well.
Yeah, okay. Well, you went to the cardiologist or the chiropractor or somebody, and they did an EKG, and they told you that you weren't having a heart attack and that everything was fine, right?
Well, yes, I do have the results from the echocardiogram.
Yeah, what'd they say about that?
Well, I don't know how to assess it, but it does say coronary atherosclerosis.
Yeah. Atherosclerosis. How much?
Of native vessel 414. Primary, angina, NOS, 413.9, shortness of breath, 786.05, fatigue, neurosis, 300.5, NIDDM, 250.
So, So what were the conclusions at the bottom of the paper? What are the conclusions?
There are no conclusions. I don't see any conclusions on the bottom of the paper.
Yeah, usually at the bottom of the document there's a little paragraph that says conclusions. You don't find it there?
No, I don't. I have it here, and I could fax it if maybe you can see something I can't see. I also I have procedures that were done, and I guess they're the findings from the procedures.
Yeah, I bet there were procedures that were done. What did they do?
Well, they did. I had an EKG and an echocardiogram, and it says estimated left ventricular ejection fraction range 50 to 55%, diastolic dysfunction, cannot assess right-sided chambers, calcified aortic valve, thickened aortic valve, mild to moderate tricuspid valve regurgitation, technically difficult study. That's from the echocardiogram.
Okay.
And I told you the other day that I didn't see any results from the EKG, but they said they were on the paper, on the actual graph.
Yeah.
And what that says is abnormal ECG. Normal sinus rhythm, possible left atrial enlargement, septal in I guess that's infraction, INFARCT.
Yeah.
And an unconfirmed report.
Yeah, okay.
There are some other numbers here too, some measurement results, and I can read that if you want me to. I don't understand it.
Yeah, okay. And how's your blood pressure been lately, Francis?
My blood pressure has been up and down. I've taken it 3 times today. First time was 89/66 and 93 pulse rate. The second time at 240, it was 109/63 and 98 pulse rate. And at 420, it was 109/65 and 80.
Yeah, okay, so that's fine. I've got no problem with that. So here's what I want you to do for 48 hours. All right. I want you to take 1 ounce of the liquid calcium 4 times a day. I want you to take it in a little bit of orange juice each time.
Okay, now you took me off of the fruits, remember? I don't know if you remember, but you said no fruits or fruit juices, so it's okay?
Yeah, you can do the liquid calcium 1 ounce in 2 ounces of orange juice. So I want you to do that 4 times a day. Only 2 ounces of orange juice, though, okay?
Okay.
4 times a day.
Okay.
And I want you to take, for the next couple of days, I want you to take 12 of the selenium a day. I want you to take 4 with breakfast, 4 with lunch, and 4 with dinner.
Okay, I'm doing 3, 3, and 3 now, but I'll up it to 4, 4, 4. Okay.
Yeah, just for a couple days.
Okay.
And the Orem that you got, was it in the 200C strength?
It's in the 200. Yes, 200.
All right.
That's what it says.
All right. So I want you to stop. Don't take any more of that today. And starting tomorrow, I'd like you to do the Orem 2 pellets twice a day for 2 more days. All right, 2 pellets twice a day for 2 more days, and then we will talk and see how you are. You're going to be fine, Francis. Keep up the good work. The heart takes a little bit longer to heal, especially when you're your age, but you've come a long way. We're going to get you. We're going to get you the rest of the way. This is just a little dip on the screen. There's no problem. Follow that advice, and we'll talk in a couple days. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden, thanks for tuning in. We are worldwide here on the wonderful World Wide Web, right? This radio program is podcast for 24 hours after the fact on the GCN radio network. It's gcnlive.com. You can also download an Android link, little app, an Android app for your cellular device, your smartphone, on the front page of drglidden.com or fireyourmdnow.com. And rumor has it that by the middle of August we will also have an iPhone app which gives you access to this radio show also. So I need your help, ladies and gentlemen. We are generating a grassroots coalition of the informed. That's why we do this radio show. We are looking for people who need to increase their finances and increase their health. And we have a simple system that allows people to do both at the same time. So please visit fireyourmdnow.com. Get information about the simple system, the longevity business opportunity, or you can call one of my associates and talk to them live, and they'll explain as much as you need to be explained to, either about the health opportunity or the business opportunity. That number, 855-347-3696. That's 855-347-3696. One more time, it's 855-347-3696. And if you like the information that you're hearing on this radio show, populate this message. Send people the website link. It's gcnlive.com, right? That's easy to remember. gcnlive.com. Tell your friends and your family members and your church members about this radio show and have them call in. They can talk to me live and in person, and I'll bring them up to speed with science-based, clinically verified alternatives to drugs and surgery. Who knew there were alternatives to drugs and surgery? Well, guess what? We knew. My colleagues and I have known about this for the last 50 years, for goodness sake. This is the best kept medical secret in the United States. The naturopathic physicians amongst us, we number somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 right now. We are the smallest contingent of medical professionals in the country. It's also one of the most rapidly growing medical professionals. And if the pharmaceutical industry does not subsume us, then we are going to be strong and healthy. You don't ever have to worry about the pharmaceutical industry subsuming good old Dr. Glidden. I am 100% holistic 100% of the time. And I am committed here to bringing you up-to-date, science-based, clinically verified alternatives to drugs and surgery. It may interest you to know that there is something called off-label prescribing, which happens according to the New England Journal of Medicine. It wasn't the New England Journal of Medicine. It was the Journal of the American Medical Association. According to JAMA, Archives of Internal Medicine, 21% of the time, MDs in private practice do something called off-label prescribing, which means they prescribe a patient a drug for a condition that drug was not approved for. So they'll give a high blood pressure medicine for arthritis pain. Or, they'll give a pain medication to help somebody sleep or something like that. Off-label prescribing, 21% of the time, which, by the way, is the definition of snake oil. It's providing a medical therapeutic that hasn't been proven with gazillions of dollars of testing and been approved by the FDA, and yet when the MDs do it, they get a pass. When we do it, we get chastised, right? When the holistic physicians among us who cannot even possibly dream of generating $60 million to do a research study that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that calcium supplementation lowers blood pressure, we can't afford that. There's no way we could come up with that kind of money. So because we can't do that, all that we have is clinical experience. All that we have, is what our experience with our own patients has been. And so when we roll out these therapeutics, the first criticism is, that therapeutic hasn't been researched. Well, guess what? 21% of the time, your therapeutics haven't been researched either. That's why it's called the practice of medicine. Ladies and gentlemen, there are a number of things that we need to do in order to secure our health and longevity on planet Earth. Take your 90 essential nutrients, stop eating the 10 bad foods, clean up your diet, eat butter, eat salt, but most importantly, fire your MD, and fire your MD now. I'm going to be in Methuen, Massachusetts this Saturday. Check out the date, check out the schedule, check out the details at fireyourmdnow.com. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Stay healthy and get wealthy. I'll see you next time.